Hey everybody, welcome to Pick Dr. Osborne's Brain. Got a great Monday night show for you. We're going to be talking all about the coronavirus, how you can and what you should be doing to protect yourself, to protect your family from getting exposure, and keeping your immune system strong and healthy so that if you do come across somebody who's gotten exposure, you minimize your opportunities at getting really quite sick. So before we dive into the show tonight, though, I'd like you to just chime in and say hi. Let me know where you're tuning in from in the world. So just say hi. Let me know where you're from. And we're going to get started again tonight on protecting yourself from what everybody's talking about right now, this big coronavirus. So let's dive into some of the biggest strategies that you need to make sure that you're implementing right now. So strategy number one, excuse me, and some of this is going to sound, kind of like common sense, or at least I hope so. But strategy number one, avoiding major public places. And what am I really referring to here? Some doctors are saying if you think you're sick, to run to the hospital or to run to your doctor's office. That actually might be a mistake. If you think you're sick, the first thing to do is protect yourself and potentially quarantine yourself from infecting others. If you run out in the public, you're going to run a greater risk of allowing other people to be infected. So the best thing to do is if you think you're coming down with something, don't run to the hospital where you're going to be mass exposure to a lot of different people, potentially who are not infected, but call your doctor's office first. They're going to give you some strategies and some techniques to minimize your ability to infect others as you make that journey, if you need to make that journey to get medical care. But the thing you need to understand about the coronavirus anyway is that many people, medical care is limited. It's a big, important thing that you understand that medical care is very limited. There's no type of vaccine, there's no type of antiviral medication that is going to help you in this regard. And so unless you are really, really struggling to breathe, or you're really, really struggling because you've got it in your lungs, there's not a whole lot that the doctors are going to be able to do for you anyway, unless they're going to be putting you on some kind of machines. And in that case, you're going to have to really be in a bad way. So, avoid those public spaces, even potentially that hospital, if in understanding that your symptoms are relatively mild. Most people that are developing this coronavirus, what they're experiencing is they're experiencing a cough, they're experiencing a low-grade fever, and just general malaise and fatigue. So it's not really. It's not to say that it hasn't killed individuals, because it can progress and be dangerous. There's about an 8-day incubation period with this particular virus that's being reported right now on. But again, medical care is limited. So what they're going to be able to do for you in the hospitalized setting is somewhat limited, because there's no way to really treat a virus. And that's why we're doing the show tonight, because I want to give you strategies and opportunities to improve your health and to maximize your immune system so that you can mitigate as much as you possibly can the risk of something like this progressing to the point where you might need hospitalization. If you do have to get out in public spaces, mask up. If you don't already have one, you can pick up a mask. And remember, this virus spreads. It spreads through coughing, through sneezing, so through fluids. And so wearing the mask protects you from breathing it in, but also protects you if you are infected from sneezing it out and potentially affecting or infecting other people. So mask up if you have to be in a public spot, if you have to be in a public space. And I'm talking about things like airports, major hospitals, areas where people are conglomerating and in very tight quarters on top of each other, subway trains, that kind of thing. Mask up, protect yourself, mitigate and minimize your exposure to the aerosolization from other people where you might be able to pick this up. Okay, number 3, again, these are common sense strategies. These first few is sleep. Nothing beats a good night's sleep to improve and promote the health of your immune system. We know that sleep deprivation leads to immune suppression. So deprivation of sleep will crash your immune system and make you more susceptible. And what we're trying to do is make you stronger, make you more resilient so that you can prevent this from being potential problems. So what timing, how should we look at sleep? my advice to you is be asleep. Don't get in bed at midnight, but be asleep between the hours of 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. Obviously, we want you to sleep longer than 2 a.m. Preferably, you're sleeping at least a solid 8 hours. But it's that 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. time frame where your body's going to do a lot of its healing and repairing and restorative sleep. And so it's very critical that you're getting to bed on time. You're getting to bed early if you want to keep your immune system strong. Remember that sleep deprivation doesn't mean, you can still get 8 hours and be sleep deprived if you're sleep depriving yourself of that crucial 4-hour window. So make sure that you're grabbing the sleep in adequate quantities, but particularly at that right time. This next one, hopefully many of you are already doing this. If you followed me for any length of time, you already know my opinion on this one, but avoidance of sugar. Sugar also crashes the immune system. So sugar will wreck your immune system just as much as sleep deprivation. There's studies that we can see, immune cells basically not functioning very well when they're exposed to high levels of sugar. So if your diet, if you're a fast food guy, if you're stopping off and you're picking up a soda, if you are eating sugary-based foods or using salad dressings that have sugar as one of the main ingredients, like there's so much hidden sugar in so many of our foods. What you're actually doing consistently over time is a slow poisoning of yourself that leads to immune system detriment. It leads to an inability or a reduced ability for your immune system to be able to protect you from environmental antigens, things like viruses. Remember, that's what we're talking about tonight, is this coronavirus. So avoid sugar and you'll do your immune system a ton of favors. Number 5, eat real food. So this goes back to avoid sugar, right? Eat real food. Sugar's not real food. Sugar's highly processed junk. So you want to make sure that you're eating real food. And so this means stay out of fast food restaurants, stay out of restaurants in general right now. Remember, one of the greatest ways or the easiest ways that we can get contamination is through somebody sneezing, a chef or a cook in the kitchen sneezing on your food if they're already infected, somebody handling your food and they have, they've not washed their hands appropriately and they're handling your food. And so eating real food, in my opinion, means eating at home where, number one, where the food comes from. And number 2, you're handling and preparing your own food to mitigate and minimize the risk of picking up the potential for an infection problem. But eating real food also goes a long way to nourishing your body's immune system. So again, avoid exposure to handlers and their potential for the disease, but also eating real food can increase the strength of your immune system, which right now you want that immune system to be functioning on all cylinders. You don't want it to have hiccups right now with the potential for a virus that has the potential to kill, infecting you. So number 6 on this list, it's really hard to do this one right now, and this one's going to be dependent on where you live, but sun exposure, for many reasons. Sun exposure is known to improve immune function, not just for the vitamin D, although the vitamin D is a very important part of what happens when you get regular sun exposure. That vitamin D is an antiviral. Remember, vitamin D helps regulate your immune system's strength. It helps appropriate your immune system's response, and deficiency in vitamin D can tank your immune system. This is one of the reasons why you've heard me talk numerous times about vitamin D therapy, using high doses of vitamin D over a short period of time, about 3 days, where you're getting in about 150,000 units of vitamin D to get a very, very quick bolster in your vitamin D levels so that you have a greater degree or greater ability to protect yourself from this. So sun exposure helps with that. And so very, very good idea. Now, again, we make less vitamin D in winter months. We make less vitamin D if we live 27 degrees north latitude or higher. So that, again, this is a geographic issue. Now, if you aren't getting in the sun, my advice is get your vitamin D levels checked and make sure that they're somewhere between 70 and 100. And this is going to, again, this is going to support your immune system strength to do its best job at helping you fight off this problem. So sun exposure, very, very important overall. Or again, let me just put a sub note here on that vitamin D. So get those levels between 70 and 100 to really give yourself an advantage. Hey, don't forget to check out the rest of the series right here. Make sure you hit subscribe below. And as always, thanks for tuning in.